Hi there, once again. Welcome back to the Tag Team Chumps podcast. My name is Jack. Once again, I am joined by my good friend Reese.
This week we've got on the agenda elimination chamber. Well, and not the promotion itself or the PLE, whatever you want to call it. More so the setup for the matches, the qualifiers. We have, I believe, the first qualifier of the past week or so took place with for the women's. I believe it was Tiffany Stratton versus Chelsea Green Lash Legend. Again, much to my chagrin, I knew Tiffany was going to win. But me
Mm,
being me, I had a little bit of a hope that Chelsea Green was going to sneak in there somehow, but no, it didn't happen. Lash Legend, I don't know. I could have seen her pulling one out as well in this match. All three, to me, could have fit in there pretty well.
yeah.
Chelsea Green fitting in a chamber. Yeah, her sort of style of I use my minions to do things for me wouldn't work very well in the chamber, but I could see her somehow figuring out a way to get Alba Fire snuck in there.
Oh yeah.
And Lash Legends, well, I feel like Naya's going to get in the chamber, and in response to that, Lash Legends obviously not going to be too happy, but she's going to be backing up Naya because their tag team's relatively new. They don't really want to break that just yet. But Tiffany getting in, I think overall, given that she came short in the Rumble, is the right call.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's the return, isn't it? So she's in the chamber. She's not going to win the chamber, but it's her return after you know basically we all know she didn't lose it because of how god awful Jade Cargill's matchmaking has been, but obviously
yeah,
she took a break. They definitely didn't want her to take the break, but it was deserved after obviously the year she had in 2025, basically carrying the promotion. Um, Obviously because SmackDown 2025 was god awful. Um, but yeah, there was no surprise she was going to be in the chamber. I don't think she's going to win the chamber. But obviously we'll have to see who else gets in there into the women's chamber. No surprise, obviously
yeah,
the next one was Rhea Ripley.
yeah, and she took on Lyra and Ivy Nile. Again, another three people that I could have seen somehow getting in there. Nile, I feel like she needs to do her bits on the mid card first, but the fact that she lost to Maxine to me is signifies she wasn't getting anywhere near the chamber.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm surprised that Lyra ate the pin, to be honest, just because of the way things are with WWE. They always make the weaker of the three eat the pin. Like they did in that triple threat match a few last year with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, mid Roman Reigns eat the pin, and obviously being the weaker of the other two
yeah,
as well. Only because I just don't like Roman Reigns. Yep, come at me. Uh, we'll get onto that at a different another point though, because we're going to be talking about Punk and Roman Reigns later on. We also have with Rhea winning that makes sense, more sense. I could have seen Lyra getting in there. Ivy, I would have liked to see it, but I wasn't even in my deck of cards.
it'll be a case of obviously there'll be a little backstage thing with Bailey and Lyra. Those like obviously Bailey kicking off saying, "How could you let Rhea pin you when we want the tag titles?"
Yeah, yeah, but something like it could be something like that. One of Bailey's alternate personalities. As much as I love Bailey and I appreciate she's doing really well with this weird alternate personality gimmick,
Mm.
given how good she actually is at wrestling and promos. Like she is
Yeah.
really good at it. But I just don't think that gimmick works very well.
Oh, I agree.
But
Yeah, it's a little bit off the cuff. Kind of just gave her something to do to give her a bit of an edge while she wasn't holding a title.
yeah, it's to me, given the situation with Rhea getting in the chamber, I could play it off as one of two things here with Io Sky and Rhea and Io Sky, not the right. You could play it off with two different things here. They could have Io win her triple threat to get into it. I'm assuming it's going to be a triple threat anyway. Um, because I don't know just yet. But if she could win it and get in it, and then they could have a little bit of thing in the chamber, or she won't win it, and Rhea will be the one to cost her it, and then that could spark something later down the line for WrestleMania. Because I see this breakup happening relatively soon, just because I feel like they are needed elsewhere in the company in terms of other divisions, like the Intercontinental Championship on Raw, bit dead, the women's that is, um, and the US one on SmackDown. Because I feel like the women's tag champs are interchangeable between the two brands. So like it should Rhea, Rhea Ripley and Io lose them, they could both just jump to SmackDown. I mean, they are typically Raw, but should they lose them, they could just jump to SmackDown, just like, hey ho, we're coming over here. I want to beat Julia for the US Championship. Yeah, it would make that picture a lot more better.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
we don't really have much else other than chamber talk today, apparently. We do have Drew McIntyre getting slapped by, battered by Fatu and Cody Rhodes
Yeah, just multiple
twice,
times. Yeah, just Drew just tried to come and say his piece multiple times, and they were like, "No, shut up."
and again he always does his great promo work.
Mm.
Coming off the back of what Punk and Romans said on Monday, which we will get into after we've done with our chamber stuff. But back on the chamber, we do also have the Randy Orton was facing against Solus Court and Alistair Black. Again, another one where I could have seen it go multiple ways,
Yeah,
but to me, um,
it's
it
fitting.
was a bit of a strange one. Yeah, it's fitting. Yeah, for Randy, it would have been strange to see any of the two go through,
Mm.
and I feel like that's what ultimately led to Randy Orton winning, because he needs to be in that main event picture. I think now. I think he's getting on to that point now where he can't be prattling around in the mid card because he's getting older now. He needs to be featuring in these matches.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a case of they're going to give him another title, so they're going to keep him in the main scene, which I'm gonna love seeing him with another title, and obviously with the way that it's all panning out, they're going to give him the world title. They're not going to give him the heavyweight title, because he's got more of a history with Drew. He's got more of a history with Sammy. He's got more of a history with Cody. Like no matter who they put it on, like he's got a very good history with them, and he wants 15. He's gonna get 15. It just depends on when he kind of forces their hand, because it seems as though at the stage Randy's at now, he's a lot tamer with
Yeah.
with the way that he kind of demands things. Like obviously when he was younger, like he got 14 in the space of what 16 to 18 years, and then well, in the last 4 to 8 years, he's not really gotten much. Um,
Last one was his last world championship, I believe, was in 2020, and that says something. I mean,
yeah,
like
six,
Randy
6 years
Orton's
ago.
excellent. Randy Orton's excellent, but given that there's been 6 years where he could have had, he could have beat he could have beat the record before John Cena did in those 6 years.
Absolutely, but it's a case
Like,
of I think he needs to force their hand like Roman does, like Roman has. Because let's be honest, it will have been a conversation where they definitely were like, oh, "Who do we want to win the Rumble?" And then Roman was definitely like, "I will win the Rumble." Because let's be honest, he does nothing. He's a part timer. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the name. He doesn't need the legacy. He's got all of it. It's just a case of Roman came back and was like, and I feel like I'm winning it. To be honest with you, and they were like, absolutely yes, yes sir, Mr. Roman Reigns. Like just bow down to him.
yeah, no, I agree. He has a certain sway that I think John Cena used to have as well himself. He used to have a sway of like being able to decide sort of matches and outcomes. As obviously Roman was the face of the company for a while. Yeah, he's to me. I don't know what it is. I just feel like his wrestling style was just basic
Boring.
to me.
Boring. Yeah.
It's
He
just
gets a pop.
it
He
gets a
gets a
good
good
pop,
pop.
but
Yeah.
that's all based on like
Yeah.
your tribal chief stuff, and like it's just
Mm,
like and him not turning up for ages and then deciding to turn up. That's what
yeah.
it's based off. It's not based off anything else.
Yeah.
It's just based off him turning up after months of being missing for some reason.
Yeah. I mean,
That's it.
obviously,
And
if we had more of a reason, like, obviously we know he's had issues in the past, um, and obviously he does have the whole thing with his elbow. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but he's got like a double jointed elbow, which like messes up, or
yeah,
more often than not. So obviously, if they gave more of a reason, like when he's on these hiatuses, if they put it on the website that he's injured or something like that, then like best to him, like like do what you need to do to stay healthy, but they don't do anything like that. It just seems like it's a case of Roman comes back when they kind of need that big figure, and it's like you shouldn't be relying on someone that basically not in the company anymore to have that like pop.
yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's with Roman, he's he's great for that pop, but to me, I don't know what it is. I don't like it for multiple reasons, but I'm not going into it. Because we've got to talk. We do have to talk about Alistair Black and Solo Sikoa. As much as they're not my two favorite wrestlers, they are still decent. Um, in terms of them two, could I have seen either of them in the match? Solo, yes. Alistair, no.
Mm,
It just Alistair's just that was his first match back after the ambulance match, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and that to me just signifies, yeah, that you've got no momentum and you're going up against Randy Orton, possibly one of the best ever. It's yeah, you're probably not going to get through that match. And Solo, I could have seen him if his henchmen were there, but they played it off well as if his henchmen just disappeared magically.
yeah, which
Um,
I'd like to see the payout for that. Obviously, see what happens because obviously there was a whole little segment from Uncle Howdy beforehand, obviously saying that like he clings to the light and basically saying like he clings to his family, and then obviously his family weren't there. So
yeah,
I mean, it obviously I won't lie, I haven't seen the newest Raw, which is 2 days ago now. Um, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's like a case of his family's been kidnapped or something like that.
yeah, I can imagine. With the latest Raw, so there is the match, the elephant in the room, the match that happened with for the next qualifier on this week's Raw. There was LA Knight versus Austin Theory versus Penta. A match again.
That's a very good fight. I haven't watched it. Obviously, look forward to watching it.
Yeah,
But that sounds
again,
very
a
good.
match what could actually
Any one of
see
them?
is any one of them being in the chamber. I could have seen Theory being in it because he's already won one
Hmm.
and put it past him to win another. Um, it's weird to say that Austin Theory's won a chamber.
It was only
But yeah,
what this 3 years ago from this one. It was only 3 years ago. Obviously, since then it's Drew and John.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With this one coming up though, it's hard to tell. Obviously, depending on who's in it, but cause Balor's not in it, and that to me is just like, well, if he doesn't beat Punk at Elimination Chamber, then
No, he's not
he's
going
I
to.
don't know. I
He's
don't
not
know what
going to, which
happens.
is annoying.
I know. I don't know what happens there though in terms of if he doesn't beat Punk at Chamber, then what happens in terms of the actual um the rest of it in terms of where does he go from there for Mania? Because Mania is only like 4 weeks after, or four or
Chamber.
5 weeks after Chamber, and it's like, what do you do after that?
Was it you who mentioned to me about possibly hoping that it becomes a triple threat?
Yeah, I believe so. A week or two ago now. I hope it does, but I can't. To me, it's that. Punk and Balor have something that they've generated over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah,
How does Balor generate something with Roman Reigns in the time that he's here? Bear in mind, sorry about this, Jack, spoiling a little bit.
it's fine.
Roman Reigns was not at this Raw. Like I said to you, he would make an appearance at the first Raw after the Royal Rumble, then not again until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly pretty certain I'm somewhat correct. He may make one or two more appearances until WrestleMania. He'll turn up
So,
and be like, oh, guess what? I'm going to do a big speech, not wrestle, take the main event spot, speaking to the fans, because that's what they want to see in the final bit. No one wants to
yeah.
see that. I mean, I love, as someone who watches it on the TV, because yes, I can't afford to be flying to America every week or so. To go watch it. If someone who's on TV, yeah, it's not so bad. But could you imagine being a fan in attendance? You've waited all this time to see a main event, and the main event is some guy talking to you. It's
Yeah.
like it's like if you go and watch the Prime Minister speak. Yeah, that's what you go in there to watch someone speak. When you go to the wrestling, you want people to wrestle. At least you want the main event of the night to be about wrestling, not about him speaking about CM Punk.
Yeah, I agree. And all he is good for is talking, which yeah, he can cut a good promo, but that's all he's good for. But I do hope he does turn up on at least one, because that's all it needs for Balor to start beef with him, because Balor's the kind of wrestler who you bump shoulders with him and he can start beef with you and it's electric. Like like you mention his name and suddenly you've got the best feud you've had in your entire career. Like
Oh,
it's just really good with Balor in my opinion. I think he's one of those wrestlers that people love to watch, and he's kind of got that like teenage attitude where he just kind of bites at everything you say.
he does a little bit, to be fair. Which you mentioned Balor, that does bring me to an idea. Yeah, and it's a bit more so wishful thinking than idea, but you know how Punk and Balor are elimination chamber together. They're having a
Mhm.
match in Chicago. Obviously, Balor lost in his quote unquote hometown, even though it was in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and not Ireland.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about WWE's idiocy. Um, because it's in Punk's hometown. What if? Hear me
Nah.
out. Hear me out. No, no, no. Hear me out. Roman Reigns comes because he has so much hatred for CM Punk. You know, they gel up this hatred, and he
Oh
costs
man.
Punk the belt.
And cost him the spot at the main event again.
Cost him the spot in the main event of WrestleMania, which obviously we all know the story of Punk. We don't need to go down that route because that'll take that. Honestly, that take us down another 15 years again. Uh, but yeah, and that could make Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor, and then Punk slides in for that triple threat.
Yeah.
It it would make, to me, if it was going to be a triple threat, it would only happen should Balor beat Punk at Elimination Chamber. Should that happen, that'll be the only way it'd become a triple threat. I cannot see it in any other way unless someone wins the chamber match and goes and picks to go against Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I mean, I don't think you can do that given
I don't know if you can do
the
that.
stipulation on it, but I think if that would be the only other way I could see it, if WWE decided to rewrite it and stick him
Yeah.
in there and have Cody Rhodes and Far 2 get into stuff with Drew again,
Yeah.
as they always do. I'm a little bit bored of Cody Rhodes and Drew versus Drew McIntyre. As much as I love Drew, I don't like Cody. We all know I don't like Cody.
Yeah.
I've made it very, very clear. So with I believe on SmackDown this week coming, I believe there is a match for um, another spot, and I believe that's Cody Rhodes. I can't remember who the other two are. We will find out shortly. Um, believe on.
That's one. Oh, I'm not certain. While you have a look at that, have you seen what has been announced for the IC title?
No, I have not actually.
Because
Oh, I have.
I don't know if it was on. Well, you watched Raw. Clearly, you haven't. Clearly, it wasn't included. So I've seen this on two separate websites now. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee.
Oh, this. Oh, the women's IC title. I thought you meant talking about the
No, yeah,
chamber for a second. Yeah.
the women's.
No, I have seen that. Yeah, that is interesting actually. I like that.
Okay.
I found the match that I was referring to as well. But yeah, I do like that along with that. For AJ Lee, it's quite good because it's obviously in her husband's hometown, so it's kind of
Yeah.
where she lives, you know. So hey, oh, um, it sets up. I think if the feud's to go to WrestleMania, which I think it will, it's to have AJ Lee win because I think it's only a number one contenders match. I don't think it's for a championship. I think
No,
it's
it's
just a number one contender match.
no, it says
I'm not
women's
sure.
intercontinental championship.
Oh, is it? All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, fair
yeah.
enough. I mean,
See, all I will say, because we've just been sandbagging Roman, they need AJ Lee to come back full time, or it's just going to turn into a Roman thing where her music hits, massive pop, she distracts Becky, disappears for another 6 weeks minimum.
yeah. No, I agree.
It needs to be a full time thing, otherwise it's just going to be like, oh, is AJ coming out this time? Oh, is she coming out this time? It's like she needs to come back because what's the point in signing the contract if you're not going to actually be in the show?
Exactly. With what I've seen as well, we've got the lovely Sami Zayn, I know, and Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes in a triple threat to
Against each
qualify
other.
for, yeah, all against each other to qualify for the chamber. And that to me, obviously, is like, wow, that's massive. As that is quite massive as a match for just a qualifier as well. I
Yeah,
could see that quite easily, seeing that being a main event of a of elimination chamber. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely. See, the thing that we need to think of then there is one of them's going to the chamber, one of them's fighting Drew at the chamber. One of them's winning the qualifying match to be in chamber to then challenge Drew at Mania or challenge for the world title at Mania, and the other one is going to fight Drew at Elimination Chamber. And
to me,
oh,
I think I know who it is.
oh well, I'm gonna put my hope in there. Then I hope Sammy wins the triple, and I hope Sammy's in the Elimination Chamber, and I want Jacob to fight Drew because I just want them basically to say, Cody, you're not good enough anymore. Cody, you don't hit the same anymore. Cody, you're not the quarterback. Because it's one of those where if you have to say that you're the quarterback, you're not the quarterback. If you have to repeatedly say, I carry this company on my back, you're not. Because not once did we hear Roman Reigns say that in the 5 years he was carrying that title. Not once did we hear yeah, obviously Roman knew he was at the top, but not once did he say,
He didn't know he was at the top. He said he was, yeah, I'm the guy. Yeah, he said he was the guy. He never went like, I'm the quarterback. Like,
yeah,
he never said anything like that. Um, Again, I'm on the same side as you with this one. I do hope Sammy wins, mostly because just Sami Zayn's great. No,
yeah,
um, and I feel like it's just going to be a Cody Rhodes Fatu triple threat match with Drew with Chamber, and whoever wins Chamber obviously will challenge Drew. And I feel like Sami Zayn's the guy. But as you said, it would make sense for it to be Fatu versus Drew
mm,
should Rhodes win the triple threat. Because obviously that he's getting his way back into the main event picture. He's
oh
working his
yeah,
way.
true,
He's not just getting a random match by proxy. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, I get that,
which would make sense. And I feel like that's what could happen. And I really don't want to because I just can't stand Cody Rhodes.
yeah, no, I
Um,
agree, and you know what, you saying that as well, the only way you're going to get a one-on-one between Drew and Jacob is if Cody's occupied elsewhere.
Yeah, and
Because
exactly, and I don't really see that other than
yeah, Cody will just insert himself. It's like just he's like a kid with a toy. It's like just leave it alone for once. Just stop it. When you've got a kid that keeps opening the cupboard drawer, like sorry, the kitchen drawer. It's like just
yeah.
leave it alone. Stop it. It's not yours. You can't touch it.
I've also seen as well that there is Alexa Bliss versus Julia versus Selena for qualifying match as well. To me, that screams Alexa Bliss.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
Julia's got the US Championship, she could be occupied elsewhere if they decided to do anything with it.
Yeah,
But I feel like Alexa Bliss needs to be in there. The only way that could happen is if Charlotte decides to cost her that as well as the Rumble, and then you have Charlotte versus Alexa at Mania. But I don't know. That's like pushing. You know what I mean? That's just pushing what that's like out there a bit. I don't think that'll happen. But yeah, so as a whole, I feel like these chamber qualifying matches are looking really good, and I like the way that they do it with Triple Threat. They did it with Money in the Bank last year, and it feels like it involves more people when there's something to fight for.
yeah,
Do you
I
know what I
agree.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
when this, you have to fight to get into the fight to get into the next fight. Like, I like it. It's good. It
yeah,
makes it more of a It sounds like as if it's a tournament. It's not. Does that make sense?
yeah. No, I get you.
Like you've gone through your preliminary round. Now you're in the playoffs just before the championship game, and then you go into the championship game after you've won the playoff. The playoff beat the chamber. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, very very hard playoff, but that's not the point. Um, but yeah, I don't like that, and I feel like Alexa Bliss should win that, which would out of the three women that are in it, I feel like I'd want Alexa to win the most out of the three so far, and but I feel like it could be a Rhea situation or even Tiffany. I'd want Alexa to win the most, but I don't think it'll happen. So, but with the three men, based on what I've predicted, Sammy, uh, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. The three out there that I want to win would be Randy because I don't know, it's Randy Orton, isn't it? But I feel like the three out of those three, I feel like LA Knight would need his props.
yeah. No, I
I feel
agree
like
there.
he does need his props. He is good. He's worked hard. He's done his job, and then the company's deciding just to like, oh, you're gonna wait. Now you're gonna wait again. Now you're gonna wait again. Yeah, give him his shout. Oh man.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. See, the issue is if they're not giving him the chamber, are they going to give him the money in the bank? But then it's also the amount of fighters that they're building up. Who they're giving the money in the bank to? They're giving it to obviously because whoever fights Drew in the final of WrestleMania,
Yeah.
sorry. So let just put a pin in that and say, just I know you're not gonna like it. Just say it's Cody, right? That
Yeah.
means you've got um, LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Randy Orton, Jacob Fatu, Finn Balor, and then someone else, Seth Rollins. There's six for the chamber right there, for the Money in the Bank right there. Like they're probably not going to give it to Seth again, but you know what I mean. Like they've got five other guys there. Or it'll probably be like Braun or Logan, but you got five guys there itching. Literally, they've got a rash for the title, and it's like, are you genuinely going to choose LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank over Randy, over Finn, over Jacob? Like it's, I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either, but this would be his fourth time in a row
That's
entering,
what
and
I'm
his
saying.
fourth time he'd be rumoured to win. He would need to win at that point, otherwise he may as well give up on ever winning that match.
Yeah,
Um, and then we obviously got the chamber as well that he could win, which would put him in a very small category. Surprisingly, it's not a very large category of winners in the chamber. It's quite a fair few. I mean, there's been a couple wrestlers that have won it twice. There's been a couple wrestlers that you think would have won one and never actually won one. Um, But yeah, I feel like LA Knight needs to get something like this, like a Royal Rumble win. I could have seen him easily winning that Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
Just gone. Or Chamber, or Money in the Bank. But those are the three that, you get your either your guaranteed shot or it's like a big thing. Like to me, Chamber pushes to be in the original four, like pushes him to be in the big four. So obviously
yeah.
you got your Royal Rumble, your Mania, your Survivor Series, your SummerSlam. Chamber pushes it because it's always really good, like especially the past few years. I mean, last year was mental. I believe last year was it last year or the year before? Maybe the year before I was thinking of where Sami Zayn was having a match with Roman Reigns and nearly won. And genuinely,
Yeah.
I was mental. I thought he was going to win. And then obviously you got, I think last year I believe was Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes, and that match was
Oh,
no, it was
that match was
no
brutal.
Kevin Owens. It was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, and that was fucking mental.
Oh, well,
Love
either
that.
way, the Kevin Owens Cody Rhodes match was insane. I can't wait for Kevin Owens to come back. I love Kevin Owens.
Everyone does. I think everyone's gotten to this point where we just all have like a mad respect for how really good he is.
Yeah, but
On to the next subject. We do, given that we both like Kevin Owens, we'll talk about some more people that we like. We've got sort of a little bit of a special bit for this episode. We have our top 5 female and top 5 male wrestlers that we're going to discuss and see if either of ours, if my top 5 somehow correlate with Jack's top 5.
yeah. So I mean, I want to first of all, I want to start with the women. I want to get them out of the way. I do
No,
have,
we don't want to get them on there. We want to talk. We do want to talk about them. Oh,
you know what I
they are
mean.
great.
Nah, but
I
you
know
want
what
to
you mean.
finish with the men. But I do have an honorable mention. Um, I don't know if you've got one, but my honorable mention is Maxine Dupree because obviously in the last couple of months she's improved massively. Um, getting the title, losing the title, getting the title, losing the title. She just seems like she is going to be one of the forefront of the mid card, obviously for that IC title. So I just wanted to chuck that little honorable mention in there.
So for me, I'll have a little honorable mention for the women. I will have. Ooh, see, I didn't have one originally. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Stephanie Vacker, and
Any
yes,
reason?
Stephanie Vacker. Stephanie Vacker, to me, she's brilliant at what she does, but it's um, it's a mic work. It's not the best, but yeah, I understand the reasons for it. I ain't gonna pick it apart, and I'm not gonna be too bothered by it. But I just feel like it could use some work. That's really it.
Yeah,
No real reason for. But she is definitely one of the best in the ring I've ever seen.
yeah, cool. Right, number 5. So I've gone with Jordan Grace as my number 5. She's come up. She's stepped up. Her mic work is decent. And she's gone up against Jade Cargill, so it's like, you know, you call yourself a bitch. I'm also gonna call yourself. I'm gonna call you a bitch as well. Like it's one of those where it's easy pickings. But she's inserted herself well for someone that's come up from NXT. She's inserted herself well. Um, Obviously with the last thing I saw of her was the tag match where she got the pin on Raquel. So I think she's doing really well, and I really hope she takes the title off Jade because Jade has no substance. Jade is just cool. Look at my muscles. Cool. I'm going to swear a bit. Cool. I'm going to throw you into the floor.
That pure hatred for Jade Cargill, I love it, and I don't disagree with that. I do also have a SmackDown superstar in my 5th slot, and that is also, funnily enough, Jordan Grace. Again, same reasons for it. There is no real reason as to why it wouldn't be, other than what Jack said. I do love the way she works. She is a monster, and I believe she could genuinely be world champ.
what WWE champ, WWE Women's champ by the end of the year. By the end of the year, she could easily have that championship. On to my number fourth. Well, I'll have for fourth. I mean, a lot of you may disagree with this. A lot of you may not like her, but I like Charlotte Flair. She is definitely the dirtiest player in the game. Definitely the dirtiest player in the game's daughter. You can tell just by the way she wrestles, she's brilliant. And in my opinion, in the ring, everyone's gonna come at me for this and hate me, but I'm not bothered. I think she's better than the dad ever was, and to me, I just see that. But then again, the wrestling back then wrestling's evolved since then. It's a lot more flashy nowadays than just your stereotypical holds and chops and stuff. But Charlotte Flair seems to keep up with that. She seems to adapt her style, and that's what's great for her. And that's why she would definitely stay in my fourth slot. I mean, there is obviously three better, in my opinion, but we'll come on to them shortly.
So I think we've actually done this a little bit differently. So I've got off of my top five like current, not like all time, like who's actually like currently performing, um, like with like their like
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, yeah.
activity. So in my fourth slot, I've got Chelsea Green, because um she is just a workhorse. Like she's obviously said in interviews herself, like she is happy to be the butt of the joke. Like because at the end of the day, she's getting the screen time, she's getting the Google searches. You know, like she's one of the names that you think of when you think of women's wrestling is Chelsea Green. Um, but it's also a fact that she like I mean, as we mentioned earlier, she was in a triple threat match with Tiffany Stratton and Lash Legend. And yes, she ate the pin, but she also performed really well. Her athleticism is, she's off the charts. She
I was
is
the
one
point
of
where I
the
thought she was actually going to win.
yeah, not exactly. Like she's one of those where she can hold her own brilliantly, and if given the chance, she would absolutely make the main event scene fun.
No, agreed, agreed. Do you want to go on to your third then? Or should
Yeah,
I
my
do mine?
my I'll go my third. My third is probably one that you didn't even think of, to be honest with you. And if you did, I'll be a little bit surprised. Kiana James, because she one performed brilliantly in the Rumble, and two, she is the only reason, in my opinion, that the US title is relevant because she is the one doing all the talking. She is the one who, you know, in Julia's lackluster matches, she interferes and gives it a little bit of spice. She is severely underrated because she's seen as Julia's quote unquote manager, which obviously they've
Yeah.
paired them together because Julia can't speak English very well. But she's the only reason that the women's US title is relevant, and I think she's doing a really good job at that.
Oh, no, I agree, I agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a learning curve, learning English language. I understand. We understand that. So pairing her with someone who can, you know, help her do her brilliant in ring work because she's good in the ring, Julia, and also like continue to give her the screen time. That that's great from the WWE doing that. But at the end of the day, Count James does deserve a props, but to me, not in my top five. My third is, funnily enough, at the moment, did mention it earlier on, Alexa Bliss.
Mm.
Uh, that's just a little bit of bias because Alexa Bliss has been a favourite of mine since she first sort of came into that main event scene when she won I believe it was a six women's match. She won the match and she was picked to be the person who would eat the pin. Like, and that's how. And this is years ago. I think this is 2017 or 2018, something like that. And when she won it, and I was like, you know what, I really like that. I think that the fact that they just could have went with one of the bigger names, and they decided to give Alexa Bliss a chance, and she took the most of it, and that to me, she stuck with me since then, and I love the work she does with Charlotte right now. It just looks great, and I hope she does get in that chamber. I'll go on to my second now, and funnily enough, my second is your third. No, not your third, your fourth, I believe. Sorry, and that is Chelsea Green. I had to put Chelsea Green in there because, well, it's Chelsea Green. Not what can't be said about Chelsea Green. She is, again, as you said, Jack, the butt of the joke. She is the women's Miz, and she said she wanted to be that as
Yeah.
well, and that's what I think is great. I think she's happy to just be doing a job, mate, doing great work, and I love that. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said earlier, like as much as obviously we say, and she says she's the women's Miz. The Miz has held multiple titles, like top tier titles, like world championships. So it's on the cards for Chelsea Green, absolutely. My number two, which also means that neither of my top two are in your top one. Um, little spoiler, but my number two is Liv Morgan. Because since she's come back from her injury, she's been quality. Obviously for the time being, she stepped aside, let Raquel do her thing. She did the tag matches with Roxanne, which were all brilliant. Um, and then obviously going on to win the Rumble, which she absolutely deserved. Um, and then even since then, like the work that she's done, obviously on Raw, obviously she interjected herself into the title match, basically causing the loss. But obviously that's up for debate. And then the tag match on SmackDown against Jade and Jordan. But I think she's been brilliant. She's definitely always been in my top five. It's kind of hard to not put her there. And the fact that she's not number one says a lot about my number one. Um, but yeah,
Now I'm intrigued because my number one is Liv Morgan for all the reasons you've left there.
yeah,
Every single reason you've just said. Liv Morgan is my number one, and for that reason, I just believe she's done great work.
yeah,
I have unfortunately left out a few of my favourites because I do really, really appreciate their work.
yeah.
Rhea is my all-time favourite women's wrestler, but that is um,
Yeah, she's
just how
stuck in
it
the
is.
tags.
And she's stuck in the tag team. Yeah, she's stuck in the tag team at the moment. But yeah, again, tag team division for the women's has been great, but that's therefore made a loss towards the other women's championships. Like the women's mid
Mm.
card has just fell off a bit, and some of the main titles have suffered as well because of
Yeah,
the women's tags. And that's what I feel like is where the struggle lies. You've got to somehow keep the women's tags relevant by keeping everything else relevant as well. But they're struggling to do that, and that's why
yeah,
I feel like some of the solo women's have been given more time. Like Vaquer, if the women's tags weren't a thing, I don't think Vaquer would have even got a sniff of the title.
yeah.
Just purely based on Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax for WWE for some reason. Love, I don't know why. I just don't think she can wrestle. She botches things and she's just hot headed. That
but
match with Charlotte Flair comes to mind.
but yeah,
We all know what happened there.
my number one at the moment. Um, the set I'm gonna give a little hint because the set I say this, you'll know who I'm speaking about. Not actually technically in the main roster yet,
I
but
know, I already
Sol
know.
Ruka, Sol Ruka is absolutely phenomenal. Like for all of the women's finishes, the Soul Snatcher is diabolical. It's immense. Um, I know it was obviously it was the whole thing for her to finish third, which I mean the fact that Roxanne finished second or third last year, and then obviously Sol Ruka finishes third this year. They have massive plans for Sol Ruka, and it's one of those where every match she does is just phenomenal. It's high flying, it's fast. You're excited to watch it because some of the stuff she pulls out is just phenomenal, and I can't wait for it to be in the main roster. I need her to ditch Zarya, just ditch Zaruka because it sounds like a skin condition. Just, just ditch Zarya, ditch Zaruka, ditch NXT because Obviously, she's lined up for the NXT title. She's got a number one contender. She's fighting JC Jane. She's probably going to win it. But then,
I wouldn't be surprised.
but
I
then
think she should.
in a month or two, she's gonna lose it, and then she's coming up to the main roster. They're giving her the spot so that she can be the champ before she comes up, because
Agreed.
Sol Ruka is the kind of wrestler that it doesn't matter where you put her, she can and will carry a title. She could win the tags with anyone. She can win the IC, the US, the World Heavyweight, or the World Championship. She could win any of them, and it'd be like, yeah, that makes sense because she is just phenomenal.
Agreed. No, I agree. I mean, if we did miss out some of your favourites, then yeah, well, comment down your
Cry about
favourite
it.
below.
Cry about it.
Cry about it, but feel free to comment your top five and how wrong we were. More than happy to reply to any that we do get. So on to the men's. Should we do an honorable mention for the men's as well? Because I
I
feel like
do
I
have
do.
I do have an honorable mention, which once again, this is one I don't think you will have mentioned. I think my top five is probably a little bit going to surprise you a little bit for what you know about me. But my honorable mention is Dragon Lee. It's Dragon Lee because he has stepped up massively. Obviously with the tag team with AJ, and then obviously having Rain Penta's back, it just feels like, and then even the one-off matches he has against Brunson, against Austin. Like, I don't think he's fought Logan yet, but it's like he holds his own. He's one of those where now that he's been given the spotlight to showcase himself, I am starting to agree with Ray, where he said Dragon Lee is the future of Lucha, because as good as, you know, any of the other LWO, Penta, any of AAA, like La Parca, Mr. Iguana. You know what I mean? Like, Dragon Lee has just been outshining them all, in my opinion, and he's doing extremely well for the limited time that he's been given.
No, I agree. So to me, I've got a honorable mention as well myself. I'm gonna put it on. I hate to do this because I feel like I could put him higher, but um, it's Obafemi
Oh,
is
but
my honorable mention.
oh,
I
but
feel like it could be higher, but to me, I've not seen enough on the main
yeah,
roster yet.
he's coming in. He's a wrecking ball. He dips.
He showed up in the Royal Rumble. He's shown up on the past few episodes of Raw and SmackDown. I mean, he did crush our boy Kit Wilson. God rest him.
Kit Wilson.
Uh,
Yeah, God rest his
you know,
soul. He
he
passed
is
away
now
after that collision. Uh,
he is now in hospital after being squashed by the ruler. And I think he also just buried the Viking Raiders or whatever they were called.
which is insane, by the way, insane.
Like, it shows how much they think about it, that they put him against two burly dudes who were a tag team and he's just crushed them.
Yeah.
It shows how highly they think of him, and that's what I
Mm.
can't wait to see more of.
Oh well,
But
I hope highly enough that when he gets his hands on Brock in the Mania, that he puts him through the mat.
I agree. And on to my fifth spot, and unfortunately, I feel like you're gonna not like how low this one is. Um, I'm thinking it's Carmelo Hayes. Um,
Okay.
is my fifth. Yeah, he's never been my favorite wrestler in the world. I do like him though, in terms of his finishing move. His other finishing move, he's great. He's got some great finishes. He's just brilliant in terms of his backstage segments that he has. He's actually does really well with them, and he's great in the ring as a whole. And I feel like this Miz stuff has elevated Melo a lot higher than what could have been done in his own. I feel like, but if that's just because I did not see much of him in NXT, correct me if I'm wrong, and if I say that he's not, if anything I say is wrong, do feel free to correct it.
It's just
But I just genuinely think that he's got these matches that he's having, and he's having some brilliant matches. Everyone, you could put him in against a broomstick, and I feel like he'd have 5-star match.
Yeah, no, I
But
agree with that.
I'll let you go on to your fifth then.
But my fifth is Trick Williams. So
Two time.
tricky two time lemon pepper steppers. Um, it's
Let's talk about it.
it's one of those where I won't lie. Obviously, it's kind of it. It's one of those where for a lot of people he will be in the top five. For me, I'm kind of surprised that I've put him in my own top five. To be honest with you, because his gimmick kind of gets on me nerves a little bit, which I know is going to confuse you with me saying this and he's my fifth pick, but at the same time, he's inserted himself tremendously. Like same with Jordan Grace, like slotted himself perfectly into that main event scene. He's probably going to be the sixth person in the elimination chamber. Um, but it's one of those where he everything he's saying is kind of true. Like if he was given a title, he would absolutely carry the company on his back because he's got the attitude, he's got the gimmick, he just is really good. And like from coming up from NXT to have people in the main roster, sorry, fans in the main roster, instantly chanting "Whoop that trick" is phenomenal. It's a great position to be in.
It does prove very, very fruitful. Trick Williams, a big fan of Trick. I mean, I've mentioned Trick Oberanjavon to you before they came up to the main roster. Yeah, I know, obviously, you're not the biggest NXT watcher. I did mention all three of them, yeah. And I even said to you, these three, you need to look out at these. These are brilliant. And I mean, I'm just glad I was proved right once again.
Yeah.
Feeds my ego. Like, genuinely, it feeds my ego almost as much as John Cena eats world championships. Genuinely, it feeds my ego that much. But onto my fourth, and I feel like what person I want to cover next could always be people's top two, top three ever, really, and that is Randy Orton. Randy Orton for me is only fourth due to I've not seen much of him recently, obviously, because since he's come back, he's managed to make some things happen with Trick Williams. He's managed to sort of get himself in that fatal four way, made something in the fatal four way. Then he's gone and into the Royal Rumble, had a bit of a good go in the Rumble. He had that uh, 8-man match in the just the night before the Rumble. And I feel like Randy Orton, obviously, because when going into the chamber, I feel like he could be somewhat look out for. It could be another year of Randy Orton this year, and that's why he's only fourth because it's only very very recent that this has happened. So that's why he's fourth, not higher up on the top three of current sort of superstars that we've got going. So do you want to go on to your fourth then, Jack?
A fourth is a gentleman you've already mentioned, Carmelo Hayes. For pretty much the same reason that you've said, to be honest with you. Like he followed some very big shoes with Sammy and Ilya with the US title, and he is carrying it extremely well. With the fights that he's had. Obviously, we'll see him again in what 2 days. See who he fights. See who he fights against. Um, I'd like to see something a little bit different. Um, but like even a fight against Shinsuke, like Shinsuke is a fighter who obviously in 2025 his gimmick was the whole like ancient warrior, ancient Japanese warrior kind of thing, and I didn't enjoy it. I thought it ruined him. But obviously with the fights that he's been having recently, I've actually been really enjoying Shinsuke, and I thought that the fight between Melo and Shinsuke was phenomenal. And Melo's only gotten better with his first 48 and his I've forgotten it. Forgotten his finishing move.
No.
Nothing but net. Thank you. It's a great setup and a great finish, and yeah, he fully deserves to be in both our top fives.
No, I
Um,
agree, 100%.
but
Do you want to go on to your third?
Yeah, my third. It won't be a long one. It is Finn Balor. Finn Balor's always been in my top five. But he is getting my third right now just because honestly, his backroom segments, his involvement with CM Punk, and that fight against CM Punk was phenomenal. Um, honestly, like
It was.
it's it's going to be a competitor for one of my personal fights of the year, and it's only February. Like it was phenomenal. The crowd, the location, the fight itself. Obviously, it was the first time they fought against each other, and it was a perfect match. So yeah, Balor's my number three.
Agreed. But my number three, unfortunately for me, well, I say for me, Jack, but it's also, funnily enough, Finn Balor. I can't really say more than what you said, other than yeah, it's nice to see him out of his shadow a bit. He still has the segments with the Judgment Day, so he's not completely cut off. He's also still trying to get at the main title. He's having a bit of a spat with Dom, saying, "Oh, because Dom said JD was going to be coming back soon," and then he was like, I'm not bothered. I want the world title. I want Punk." You know,
Yeah,
all that like bravado that he wants that solo run again, and I feel like he needs it. Not necessarily because he's losing his mojo. I think he needs it because we need to remind the rest of the world what Finn Balor is.
yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. It's deserved, and it's about damn time.
Great. Would you like to go on your second, or should I?
So my second is a man who does not speak a lot anymore. Um, but he is all gas and no brakes with it. Uh, Jacob Fatu, I absolutely love the man, and I loved him being inserted into that main event scene before, obviously getting excluded, and then coming back, inserting himself into the main event again, ruining Cody's title run, and then just
That's
he
beautiful.
doesn't care. He just hits anyone he wants. He's like he went into, unfortunately, another one that absolutely demolished our boy Kit Wilson, but he turned up and just absolutely demolished Kit Wilson. Didn't say anything and just like, I am out. Like he's just he's all action, and it's brilliant to see. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, I see where you get that from your second, but my second is funny enough also somewhat related to Jacob Fatu in the Scottish psychopath, the Scottish warrior, the WWE World Champion, Drew McIntyre.
Boo!
My
Boo!
well, Jack, if you know me very well, you know my love for Drew McIntyre
Yeah,
and how he himself is the entire reason that there is overseas PLEs.
yeah,
Drew McIntyre is the person who's really made that non-North American PLEs happen, and or even non-North American actual aired episodes of SmackDown and Raw. He's the reason these things happen. Nobody else. And well, I mean, obviously, you know, you've got all the background people, but Drew McIntyre is very vocal, even on TV, as he wants and
yeah,
interviews. He wants these things to come over here. He wants WrestleMania in the UK, and obviously, they've got to find a way to do it. But it's, you know, obviously, you've got that other things. You know, you've got all the stuff that backstage where they have to talk to, you know, people who have these arenas, people who own these arenas and stuff like that,
yeah,
and you know, you've got to get planning permission and all that rubbish. Um, That's why, obviously, these non-North American ones don't happen all too often, because it's easy to do a SmackDown or Raw because you just stick them in an arena. But when you've
yeah,
got your WrestleMania, you've got to build something, you know, that's sign and putting it in. Um, Putting it in. If you were to put it in London, you'd quite literally have to stick it in Wembley Arena.
yeah,
Not Wembley Arena, Wembley Stadium, and that's the only place I can think of it going. And obviously, we all know, All In likes their AEW likes their Wembley Stadium.
So I'm gonna interject here. I'm not gonna even say why it's biased a little bit, but I genuinely think the London Stadium would be a little bit better because it's got so much more space. Like outside of the seats. So obviously you've got the seats surrounding, then you've got the track, then you've got the field. So I think London Stadium might be a little bit like a little bit bigger in terms of area, in terms of how many people that could get in there.
I remember one time I took a trip there. I had to get binoculars. I was sat right at the back. I couldn't even see the pitch.
That's normally the case when it comes to these shows, like with with wrestling anyway. Like,
I've had some good seats. I've had some very good seats, mind you. But we all know I've been to a quite a lot of events, and they are great. I went to one in London a few years ago, and that was brilliant. I've seen Drew McIntyre there, and I've seen Drew McIntyre wrestle in person a lot more than I've seen a lot of other wrestlers,
yeah,
and it goes to show another reason why he's always going to be in my top five.
yeah.
The man's always there. He's always doing that, 52-week trip all the time, no matter where it goes. Honestly, if you told him he had to be in Australia one day and America the next, he'd do it. And that's what I love about Drew. But we'll go on to our firsts, and I want to start. I want to take mine because I want to get it out of the way before you berate me and kill me for it.
I was hoping you would because I like my number one, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a surprise again.
I like my number one, and my number one. Well, I mean, no one else likes my number one, but we all know why no one else.
No,
likes
you
my
don't.
number
No, don't you dare say his name.
one.
No,
It's
no,
my number one.
no,
We
no.
all know why. I won't go into it. He is done. He is like what's like the he is the new Vince McMahon. Genuinely, the most hated person in WWE. Vince McMahon once was that when Vince McMahon literally wrestled God in a match, and I'm not joking. Look it up. He wrestled Shawn Michaels and God in a match. I was joking. Gunther is the modern day equivalent of that. This man has killed so many careers. He is, as I've said before on this podcast, he has beaten three people, all kings of different promotions. We're just waiting for the king of AEW to turn up in WWE and get crunched by the ring general.
Is that where Dean Ambrose comes back and gets his career done?
Potentially, I would love to see Kenny Omega get squashed by Gunther just because I just hate Kenny Omega. I love his wrestling. He's a great wrestler. I just hate his attitude. But that comes with the most AEW superstars. That attitude. That's why they're not in WWE. Is their attitude.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose is known for his attitude. And Kenny Omega's, but we'll not talk about him because CM Punk just explained all that for me.
You know what? I'm just going to cut you off there because no one wants to hear you talk about Gunther anymore.
Everyone wants to hear me talk about Gunther. Everyone loves the ring general.
Right, but my number one is the bouncy man. My number one is Javon Evans for the exact same reason that my women's number one was Sol Ruka. He absolutely just lights up everything. Doesn't matter who he's fighting against. He pulls out like audacious, like my guy. It's like, you have the audacity to do that. You've been here 5 minutes. He's like, I don't care. I'ma do it anyway. Come here and catch this OG cutter. Like, like Javon Evans is the high flying megalomaniac that is a mixture of like Ricochet, Kofi Kingston, Shawn Michaels, like mixed in a beautiful blend with, about 10 Red Bulls. Because, like, my man is absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that he's 21 makes me feel old. But you know what? It's incredible to see. And I feel like until he turned up, I didn't realize that was something that the show was missing, like dearly missing. Like that old good vibe of like a Kofi Kingston. Like obviously Kofi's New Day sourpuss. Like, yeah, we won't. I'm not going to talk about the New Day, but Javon Evans just brings an absolute vibe that I absolutely love.
Agreed. I couldn't agree more. With Jordan Evans, funnily enough, you mentioned Red Bulls. I feel like for some reason Gunther's a proper like ale person. I don't know why. I know obviously it's a random subject to get onto. We're here to talk about wrestling, not alcohol and drinks, but Gunther seems like a very boring ale
No,
or a pint of
no,
Carling, and then there's Mr. Bouncy, bouncing all around the ring off Red Bull.
no. Javon Evans is vodka and Red Bull, and Gunther's a martini. Like, like he's just like the straight edge will punch your face in.
Power bombs, not stirred.
Well, yeah, that's our top fives with a couple of honorable mentions in there. Yeah, if you'd like to pop into the comments any of your current favorites, obviously yours was more generalized. Obviously, not only including a few current, but a few like that you've loved for a while, like Randy and Drew. Obviously, mine was a lot more of just the fresh faces, to be honest with you. Who's having an impact right now? But obviously, once again, that's obviously subject to opinion. But we can all agree Reese's number one pick was wrong. But
We all love the number one pick, don't we?
yeah, my number one pick. But other than that, I think we're going to end it there. Thank you very much for listening. If you please drop any comments, please like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.